Okay, in case you can see behind me here, I am now in front of the picket fence. Here is that's where I was standing, about right there in that corner, and I'm kind of out square in front of it here, and there you can see down the fence line. I have moved out onto the front, onto the grassy knoll, facing Elm Street now, because this is where Gordon Arnold was standing. He was photographing the motorcade from in front of the picket fence on what he called a little mound of dirt to stand on to see the motorcade. Now, he didn't start off here. He was he was home on leave from the military, and he brought his movie camera down to Dealey Plaza just to film the motorcade and catch a little history. He was walking behind the grassy knoll, behind the picket fence, when he was stopped by a man in a suit. Just like Ed Hoffman talked about the suit man, just like Lee Bowers talked about the suit man. He said he was accosted by a man wearing a suit who claimed to be a member of the Secret Service, who flashed a badge. And Arnold later told Jim Mars, the same JFK researcher, quote, "I was walking along behind this picket fence when a man in a light-colored suit came up to me and said I shouldn't be up there. I was young and cocky, and I said, why not? And he showed me a badge and said he was with the Secret Service and that he didn't want anyone up there. I said, all right. And I started walking back along the fence. I could feel that he was following me, and we had a few more words. I walked around to the front of the fence and stood, found a little mound of dirt to stand on to see the motorcade, about right where I'm standing. So if I turn this around, you can see what, here is Elm Street, and the motorcade would proceed right there in front of him. All right, that's his view. Arnold claimed that the first shot came from behind him, which would be behind the picket fence. After the firing had finished, Arnold claimed that a policeman with a gun forced him to hand over the film and his camera. Arnold later returned to Fort Wainwright and was never interviewed by the Warren Commission or the House Select Committee on assassinations about what he had seen. But what he told Jim Mars is corroboration of several things. First of all, Suit Man, which both Ed Hoffman and Lee Bowers had claimed. Secondly, the policeman, which both Beverly Oliver and Bobby Hargis had said. And the fact that the firing came from behind him, behind this picket fence. There's a lot in that little bit of testimony that he told Jim Mars that corroborates other parts of the story that we've already learned. And so that's the story of Gordon Arnold. So far, we have corroboration upon corroboration upon corroboration of a man in a police uniform. Sometimes Ed Hoffman referred to it as a suit. Lee Bowers referred to it as a suit. From a distance, a police uniform could look very much like a suit. And then also the presence of the shooter being behind the grassy knoll, behind the picket fence, and also there being the presence of a man in an accomplice who left in the opposite direction. So we have a lot going for this Roscoe White story, is my point. But it gets better.